if everyone's special, no one is. And I'm like, bullshit. Everyone's special. Everyone is special. Have you met everyone? Like, yeah. And when we're not, when a human being doesn't rise to their divine calling of being who they are, it's the biggest tragedy. Tragedy. It's just such a tragedy.
It's a tragedy.
I should probably put the beer down. Good Lord. This is right up your alley, man. Like, when you look at somebody in the eye, when you're allowed to kind of,
they're both, you are able to see perhaps their most their like you were saying, their personal knowing is like, it's most them, it's like you were seeing the most multiplicity type thing ever. But then I think about it as like when somebody is most themselves, like, which is the multiplicity aspect, then at that very moment they are most at one with everything, so there's both unity and multiplicity, and it's like this coincidentia positorum that just blooms.
Right. Well, we're talking about authenticity, right? Like that place.
I think so. That's like theosis. That's how I think about it. It's like theosis. But I think that theosis is not like, I have achieved theosis and now I'm good for life. It's like, this is something that we all probably experience theosis every day.
I achieved theosis in 2018, and ever since then, I've been wrathful.
Yeah, I think actually perhaps the theosis is like the default state or something, and like we just kind of mess with it. I don't know.
Maybe.
Like those moments when we can just kind of relax. I've used this example before, but you're walking out to your car, you get into the car, and you notice, oh, what a beautiful sunset. And there's a moment of just like pure being, right? Just experiencing being, and it's like, boom, being, wow. And
I have a song.
Theosis. That's theosis,
I have a song that I experienced one of those moments in and through, I suppose you could say. Let's see if I can.
Sure, yeah, and that moment can be like, it can be wildly overwhelming. However, it can also, just seeing the sunset, like you can become like a blabbering fool, just like not doing your daily tasks or whatever, but like at some level, there's a way of just like making a modal shift where you're kind of operative in that space all the time, and it becomes less overwhelming, such that like, like the shining beauty all around you can just kind of, I don't know, that's kind of how I think about it. It's like it's a little bit of edgelording, but it's like we want to ever sink deeper into this state, even though it is overwhelming. It's like because then we become accustomed to it. That's kind of how I think about it.
Yeah, there's something there. There's something in that kind of, it's that image of the pre-burned forest. To stop the forest fire, you burn a line.
It's psychedelics. It's like,
I remember exactly where I was. I very rarely take naps.
I don't take naps.
Not to brag, but I don't really take naps. I go to sleep at night, and I sleep like however long I sleep, and then I wake up, and I don't need to sleep until I need to sleep again later when the sun goes down. Wait, what is it? Does he say he doesn't take naps?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I woke up from a nap at a friend's house in college, and it was one of those days where when I fell asleep, it was like raining, like really hard. But then when I woke up, it was just misting, and it was like the sun. It was one of those in the South. They said the devil's beating his wife.
I've never heard that one.
You never heard that? Well, that's when it's raining, but the sun's out.
Yeah, we call those sun showers.
Yeah, that's much less vivid, I'd say, description of what's going on. But yeah, no, that's when the devil's beating his wife, is when it's raining.
Up here in secular land.
yeah. But so yeah, it was like misty, and right at sunset, sun kind of poking through this like foggy, misty, but it was like bright still at the same time. But it was kind of like, it was opaque. It was veiled, you could say. And then I put my headphones on, and this came in. Come on.
Like the heights of theosis truly are splendorous and beyond our comprehension, and I actually kind of think about that as perhaps,
I think I'd settle for peace that passes understanding before I strive for, theosis, in some ways.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that we think about it as this like impossible to attain, like the heights of spiritual practice, but I think maybe it's like a more kind of ever present, like 1 second it's there, the next it's not type of thing, where we
Right.
all
Well,
experience glimpses of it, but we're not like stabilized at that.
yeah.
And also it's kind of like I think about that pyramid in Galahad's video, that like the ascending levels where the eye in the middle goes up. It's like you can kind of, everybody finds themselves at these higher levels occasionally, but we get sucked back down into the maze, and like the trick is to learn how to stabilize at these higher plateaus. And like yeah.
Well, is that the trick though? You know, I guess that would be my question. Is like,
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call it a trick ultimately, but I think that's,
should you like
I think
plateau
that's
max?
the task.
You know, like,
well, I think that's the
god
task,
maxing?
you know? What?
Are we supposed to be god maxing? Sorry, I was talking over you.
Yeah, I mean, no, I mean, to some extent, perhaps. You know, like, that we should be god maxing. You know?
Yes, we should be god maxing. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Kids, keep god maxing out there.
Yep. Some of the Zoomers are, they just go max in whatever they do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess what's coming to mind is just like asceticism, you know. But this was one of the first times I noticed that like Grim matched up, like synchronized with one of my weird beats, and I was like, couldn't believe it. So, but
Yeah, I was actually thinking about this like yesterday. I'm like, maybe there's like a BPM to a conversation, you know?
yeah,
And
almost
like
certainly.
finding the BPM. Yeah, I think that's kind of, I agree. It's kind of almost certainly the thing.
And you can feel it's easier to feel when it speeds up or slows down, and that's true of BPMs too.
Yeah.
You don't really, if a BPM is consistent, you actually don't feel it. Like it just becomes.
Yeah,
It becomes.
and this reminds me of what I was saying with Sherry. Like the sixth sense is the ability to notice something irregular in the pattern or something.
I think we kind of only see places where it's not the pattern, in a sense, right? Like, I don't. Maybe I'm just kind of saying that dialectically, but there is this sense in which like, if everything was harmonious, it would be like the stable BPM. You wouldn't. It would just become the thing you don't like. It would just become environment. It would just become unconscious. It would just become like your inhale and exhale when you're thinking about something else, or you're better yet, it would be the beat of your heart. You know, like you really don't know how fast your heart is beating unless you're kind of like, like grave danger basically.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems right. I just yeah, there's something here that's
I just don't want to disagree with Sherry. Like, who am I to disagree with Sherry?
I feel that's actually kind of what's holding me up as well. Like
well, let's watch this and forget about Sherry. She's not here. She's not our mommy. She's just our sister, and we can disagree with her. That's okay. But we're probably wrong. But we're gonna have to live with that. So we'll forge forth into the darkness.
Like you see an angel, you see monks and the ascetics. They tell you to not.
You say you didn't put the sauce, bro. This sauce is
no visual sauce, is what I was talking about.
Okay.
With the, like,
got you.
Brought to you by the Shadow Cabal.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some of Grizz's own.
Damn.
Actually, how
Got a little Papa John's email.
That's actually
It looks
how
like
it
that
works.
reminded me of. Can you go
And so
back
the
to that
monk
for a sec?
Ignores the spiritual
Yeah.
constellation.
Reminded me of the seal of Saturn, and it also reminded me of the angles, the solar angles. No, that's too wide.
Usually the 9 in a circle makes me think of the Enneagram. The
I don't
shape
know
in
anything
between
about
is
the
not.
Enneagram, really.
Yeah, the shape in between is not right, but in the Enneagram, the 9 is at the top, and it kind of, the 9 is the peacemaker, so it kind of is able to say it. Those who identify as 9s often are the ones in their friend group who are the easiest to get along with. They are very, they're just like they're good for the community, you know, like they're picking salt, what blah blah blah. But they sit on top of the circle in the Enneagram because they can kind of mix and mash with all the other ones. They kind of they tend to not care what they basically hide themselves from every interaction so as to they're the epitome of a people pleaser kind of a thing. So that's their kind of downfall, is that they can people please and that they repress their anger until eventually it explodes.
I like how you put in those who identify, even if it was just a side-hand joke, because I do think that's kind of one potential thing that perhaps sets astrology above stuff like the Enneagram or personality tests, in that there is kind of a quote-unquote objective,
what connects to the stars, these things that we don't have control over.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah, I think that there's a psychological case to be made for things like the Enneagram, not in the sense that most people do, because the Enneagram, I feel like, does a pretty good job of categorizing the different ways that human beings can be hurt as a child. Like all of the numbers kind of come with very much like a dark side, a Jungian shadow, a pet sin, a primer idol, kind of a thing. Like, yeah, and so like, but then it also it's in the literature or whatever. It's also very much related to kind of childhood wounding as well, and so there's an element of that kind of it's helpful. And you know, like you could look at all of it as like self-authoring. It's just another type of self-authoring program situation.
Yeah, no, I think the Enneagram is interesting for sure. I can imagine it being helpful.
Because you're a messed up monk, aren't you? Aren't you, you little...
When I read Paradise Lost, I was studying totalitarianism.
You know who does this great as well is McKenna as well, Terrence McKenna.
Like a prophet, is someone who has intimations of the future. And maybe that's because the poetic mind, the philosophical or prophetic mind, is a pattern detector, and
it's also a trick to get people to keep listening to you.
It's like the melody of a nation.
Somebody asked,
and Dostoevsky was of the same sort of mind, someone who was in touch enough with the fundamental patterns of
we got two
of human movement that they could extrapolate into the future and see what was coming.
1, 2, 3 to the 4. We played a couple videos. We're gonna play more. If I catch the beat, it's gonna be sweet. If I do, please, Jonathan, delete everything that doesn't sound cool. Please keep me from looking like a fool. I'm trying to be like Freddie G on PVK all day. And it's like that. You can get with me on a different life. I would definitely be a different person with less crime skills.
Indistinguishable from hell. And Milton's warning was
indistinguishable from hell.
The rational mind
taking the place at the bottom of the hierarchy. Like
something,
there's the parable of Jesus where he says, like, when you're invited to a party, don't sit right next to the birthday boy. You sit as far away as possible, and then that way, and it says basically like that way, if he invites you to sit closer, you'll get sat closer. But the worst thing that could happen is you get invited and you think that like the birthday boy wants to sit right next to you. And then he says, no, you sit further away. I want my real best friend to sit next to me. Like, and so that's kind of just, obviously just a metaphor for humility.
That's good advice. Shout out Jesus.
Yeah, shout out Jesus. He's the first kind of, the first kind of big name in the manosphere, kind of teaching us how to be real men out there.
First true Arthur, bro.
Also, your whole analytics YouTube studio is visible right now to me. I don't know if you want to.
Oh yeah, we've just been looking through all my videos.
Yeah, I don't know if you
saw. Maybe you
care
saw
about that.
Maybe you saw the videos from back before.
Well, I guess YouTube has already decided which of these I'm allowed to see and which I'm not, huh?
It's true. I want to see a little secret. What do we got here? Is that
Minecraft?
Is that old videos?
Oh shit!
Oh boy!
Can we please watch one of these? I'll show you one of mine. If you show me one of yours, I'll show you one of mine, and it's bad. We cannot have it. You will have to edit it out if I show you it, but we can watch it.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Look up McMo Sav on SoundCloud right now.
Keep my SoundCloud, man.
Keep my SoundCloud. This is gonna be fun.
First, I want to play this. I found a really banging jazz track.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah. I'm hyped to use this and edit at some point.
There's me as a high schooler.
that
was
you?
my like. That's my
Damn,
senior
bro.
photo. Yeah,
Look at
that's
that
my
picture.
senior photo. I wanted to.
I dig
pretend
that
was, like,
picture so much. Bro, that
James
should be a
Bond, dude.
profile picture, man. I'm just
I don't
saying.
look like that anymore.
I mean, so what, bro? People be putting their baby pictures. This eyebrow control, dude. It's genius.
Oh yeah, I can still do that.
If you are in fact curious to kind of look at what's been up astrologically, I'm down
Yes.
to do that.
And it's Friday, baby. I'm not bailing out because of sleepy time. I'm staying up late. Let's go.
All right, cool, man. Yeah, and take your time as well. You know, no rush. All right, mate.
All right. Bye.